Cornhole rule changes are incoming, at least a little rule tweaking for the ACL or the American Cornhole League. Let's talk about it. All right. So if you were on Twitter the last few weeks, you saw some posts from one of the leaders of the ACL, Trey Ryder, back on June 16th, made this post. The ACL Pro Committee has proposed two significant rule changes that will be voted on by the Pro Division in the next few days. One was the elimination of the follow-through step going over the foul line. As many of you know, one of the main differences between the ACO and the ACL is you cannot cross the line in ACO. And in ACL, if you launch the bag, if you let go of the bag before you step across the line, you're okay. You can have a follow-through step, which for some is kind of over-exaggerated. They step all the way through the line, both feet, and cross over into the other player's lane. Caused a bunch of problems, which was probably the motivation for maybe looking at this rule change. And then two, allowing a bag set change mid-game or during the game rather than after the game or between games or whatever. So that was on June 16th. Then they had a pro player vote on it, or an informal vote, it seemed like. And then they had the rules committee meet and come up with what they were going to do. I'm going to go through some of these Twitter comments. It looked like some people were fans of the bag change. Some people weren't fans of the bag change. And if you guys follow any kind of social media cornhole forums, line stepping is an issue. It's a polarizing topic on those forums all the time. Is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? Should it be allowed, not allowed? Whatever. So that's one of the rules that we're going to address here. Then just under a week later, June 22nd, they made this post on Twitter, or Trey Ryder made this post on Twitter. The rules voting ended today, and the pro committee met to review the results. The mid-game bag change will not become a rule, at least for the next year. All these changes would have taken place in 23 or in the next year, 23-24 tournament season. The step over rule will remain mostly in place, but a requirement to keep the plant foot stationed in the box at all times and a foot foul violation to be called if it doesn't. So there's like a happy medium. It says on the step over rule, it will eliminate the overly distracting step overs and players that are using it. Trey himself says he was personally bummed to see the bag change not pass. Then we'll go through some of these Twitter comments. The first one there I like. He said, bummed on the bag change would bring even more strategy to the game. Step over, he's all right with, because as this gray area is gone, you leave the box and the bag is dead. So you got to keep a foot in the box. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on both these rule changes, the proposed rule changes, what they did. And then I want to hear in the comments from you guys what you think they should have done, if anything, or maybe some other ideas that they could move towards in the future. So number one, we'll start with the line stepping and the line stepping rule. That's one that's kind of weird. Like I said, it's polarizing on the social media forums. And it seems like if you even bring up the line stepping, even if it's not the follow through step, if it's just a toe on the line, people freak out. They act like you're some kind of soft patsy for acting like that's a big deal to step over the line. But if you played any other kind of sports, there's an out of bounds line or a foul line, and it's there for a reason, and it's enforced and it counts and it matters. Otherwise, why even have a line? That's kind of my opinion on it. I feel like that should be more strictly enforced. Now, the step over or the follow through step, I'm okay with that being allowed. I was kind of torn on that for a while, but I played basketball my whole life. As long as you take off from behind the 3-point line, it counts. The shot counts as a 3-pointer, but you can't step on or in front of the line before the ball is released, or it's not a 3-pointer anymore. In football, you on that white in the end zone doesn't count. You can't run out of the baseline in baseball. You can't hit a ball out of bounds in golf across the out of bounds line and it still count. There's a penalty for that. So I'm okay with the follow through step still being in there and allowing the plant foot to remain in the box. But I wish talking about the foul line and stepping over the line, they came up with a plan to enforce that from the beginning of the tournament to the end, rather than just going on an honor system. Because I watch the live streams when I'm killing time, whether it's during the weekdays or whatever, or watching replays on the weekends or in the evenings. And a lot of people, especially the steppers on that initial step, when they're going for a hard push or something like that, they hit that line. They step over it before they let go of the bag, and nobody says a word, and it's not policed. And a lot of times it might change the outcome. Now, I know some of y'all will say, oh, you're crazy. That shouldn't matter. You're being soft. A half an inch doesn't matter. Well, then why even have the foul line? Why even have out of bounds lines in any sport? To me, it all matters. That's why there is a line. So I know it's when you have 300 people in some big tournament, it's probably hard to have officials on site, but maybe they move eventually. It's easy to innovate with how cheap technology has gotten in tennis. When you step on the line or when your ball hits the net or whatever, there's an automated laser beam deal that sounds an alarm that you stepped on the line before you served. Probably wouldn't be that hard to retrofit something like that on cornhole courts, especially the main courts for the finals and the televised events and things like that. Now, the bag change rule, I wish they would have done that. I think that's cool. I always like to reference other sports. And if we're talking like golf, you got a whole bag of golf clubs. If we're looking at another niche sport like cornhole, disc golf, you have multiple discs. You don't just have one disc. You have multiple discs for different purposes. So it'd be kind of cool to have a mixed bag of bags where you had 3 regular Vipers and 1 Viper R, or I like some black sheep bags. So you have 3 Costellos and 1 OG2 where they have the same fast side, but that OG2 is like Velcro, and you could use that in certain situations. And manufacturers could come up with 4 packs of bags that, too fast, too slow, and whatever. I mean, the combinations could be endless. I think that would be really, really cool, is having mixed bags, not just being able to change bags. So I wish they would allow both of those. They didn't even propose the one, but I wish they would allow the bag change mid-game and then allow mixed bags of cornhole. That may already be a rule. I didn't dig in deep into the existing rules for the bag setups, but maybe manufacturers don't even offer that, because I know they all have to be uniform in color and everything like that. So the manufacturers would have to make a set of bags, even if they were different materials, had the same design, same colors. So at least the scoring wouldn't be messed up by looking at different colored bags up there. But I would love to see that. I'd love to see that option, bring a lot more strategy into the game. I'd love to see that option of either bag change or mixed bag or both of cornhole bags. But anyway, it's cool. I mean, the rules are going to continue to be fluid, I'm sure, in every organization. And they're going to continue to make changes to try to not only make it more entertaining, but kind of tweak the competition a little bit and open it up for even more strategy to play into what is already a very strategic game. So anyway, I thought it was cool. I thought it'd be a fun discussion. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments of what they should or shouldn't have done. Anything you would like to see done in the future, drop that in the comments. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching.